You know what? When we're all starting to show up, it feels like the flower, the daisy, all of the petals are starting to come together. It's
Yeah,
so
energy,
beautiful.
energy
Energy,
flowing.
energy. The
Yeah.
flower becomes fuller and fuller. It's so special. Just want to acknowledge that. Oh, my soul is shining. It's like, oh, the more the
It
prettier, the
feels
better.
it
Ah,
feels like we haven't had a meeting, but
Selena, what were you saying?
I was just saying, feels like I haven't seen you all in
I
a little bit.
know, I know. It's been a few weeks. Selena, namaskar.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, good.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, thank God.
So let's give it 1 minute. And first of all, again, I want to acknowledge you all for being here. And today, our topic is how to teach men to listen and to support you. And I have a question for you. Who thinks that I will teach you today some sort of a trick so your man all of a sudden will listen to you and will do everything you ask him? Raise your hand. Oh, beautiful. Thank you for Helena for acknowledging. Anyone else who thinks that I'm gonna teach you the trick?
I don't gonna, but I wish you would.
Right, right. Wouldn't that be
I
great?
think it's not exist. You know, this magic tablet, it's not exist.
But still, some of you maybe
Unfortunately.
have that. It's like, oh, if just this one trick, and all of a sudden he'll just do whatever I want him, right? So if anybody will ever tell you that they can teach you overnight in 1 day to teach your man to be the provider, leader, and protector and to listen to you and support you in 1 day, please know that this is a dishonest person. It's impossible. No changes happen overnight. And as you already probably can tell, I don't ever deal with the symptom of the problem. So today, in order to really create what you want, and I get that you're committed being in a feminine flow to live your life, honoring yourself, honoring your woman's nature, and obviously creating the relationship where your man will support you, whether he will, and also listen to you, and create this harmonious, loving, and trusting relationship. We gotta turn to ourselves. And the healing and the transformation only starts right here with ourselves. So, anybody right now, are you disappointed? Because again, maybe you were hoping for a trick and now I'm disappointing you. So, raise your hand if you feel disappointed again about me. So, we just gotta acknowledge the space. Is everybody on the board that it's gonna be the work about you, ladies? And they're just following. As you're healing and transforming, they're just reflection of you going to be stepping up in becoming a man that you want them to be. And it will happen. But you just got to do the work. Okay? And so right now, I'm going to go over what we will be learning today. What we will go over today is first, we'll start with acknowledging that when we when we're in a relationship, we often find ourselves either complaining, either dominating, either sometimes resenting, or controlling, or reacting, or trying to fix our man. Can we acknowledge that? That we have our ways of doing that. Thank you, Helena. This is natural to us. And conflict with a husband or a boyfriend, money or health or your loved ones, it's a quiet resistance to what's happening inside of us. That is the inner protest, not acceptance. And that not acceptance and inner conflict, what really causes so much unnecessary pain and struggle with our man. And so today we'll talk about three things. First, we'll discuss the two inner states we're living from, two ways we perceive what's happening to us and our life. One state is the state of a learner, of a student, and another state of being pride, really state of pride. And now you can tune also. The pride is where I'm also in the masculine energy. And when I'm learning, I'm a student, I have the space for humility. That's where I'm also in the energy of soft feminine woman. But today I'm going to be shifting away from even feminine and masculine, but you should understand this. But I'll be talking about real foundation. We're either in the space of a learner, which is a humility in us, or we are in a state of a pride. So we're shifting to those two distinctions. And depending on which one we are in, we'll react differently and we'll act differently. Even if life gives us the great opportunities, if we're in the wrong mindset, we won't be able to use them. But when we're in the right mindset, and the right mindset, it's also the mood that we're living in. So the mood is, again, a learner, humility, because you're not perfect, they are not perfect. And the other one is the pride. And the pride, we are connecting to the righteousness and making them wrong and correcting them. And so if we are then in the space of the humility, in the mood of the learner, we see more possibilities. We find the strength to actually change and make the right decisions. That's why it's so important to feel these two states. Am I in the mood again of humility, that life comes to me and I'm learning? Or I am in a space of pride, which is also our false ego. And humility, if we look at it from the psychological state, it's the state of knowing who you are. Vedas have a completely different definition, which we're going to come to it in very shortly. But right now, all we have to understand is that you know who you are. And the pride is the distorted, inflated idea of yourself. So how we respond to life situation depends on which one we operate from. Whether we grow and use what life gives us, or repeat the same patterns, depending on the state we are living in. The second part that we're going to cover today is we're going to talk about deeper into how a person behaves from each of the states, the student, the learner, the humility one versus the prideful one. And how you think about life. How do you interpret the situations in life? What lessons you draw from challenges? And in the third part, we'll go through a clear step-by-step process and algorithm for how to handle any problems that comes into your life, especially in a relationship. And so before we begin, I want to make one thing clear. We are not doing this to point fingers or label anyone. Not to say, you're a prideful one. You should be more humble. And this is what we usually do in our relationship. We learn something in feminine circle, and we come back to our men, and we start correcting them. Well, you should be a provider, leader, and protector. You should be paying for all the bills. You should be helping me with laundry and dishwashing or whatever, everything. That's what Amrita told me. We do not want to correct our men, taking the knowledge from the feminine circle and coming and pointing fingers or proving something. We already do plenty of that in life. This work that you're learning right now is your personal work. It means for your own self-awareness to help you to recognize pride within yourself. And I understand when we're learning and when we're in a student mindset, life looks a certain way. But when we're in a prideful space, life looks a different way. And I'm going to even teach you today how to shift that mindset. But for now, just make a commitment to yourself not to come and try to teach your man what you're learning here, because that just doesn't work. Can we agree to that? Please raise your hand. Yes, Samantha.
How do you feel about, like, if we, like, I've gone to Lane or my husband and I've been like, oh, I learned this about myself, like sharing how we need to grow, or should we also keep that? Oh, sorry, my dogs. Or should we also keep that to ourselves?
Yeah, as long as you're sharing what you are learning, how is it changing your view, your mindset, that's great. As long as it's like, oh, I learned that I am controlling, I dominate, and you should look into yourself. Right now, you're being prideful one. If we do that, that's what triggers them. Unless they're open and they come and they say, I want to learn. What will you suggest to me? That's different. But usually, men are so triggered when we, as women, try to correct them. Olga was sharing today, she was on a business meeting, and a wife in the meeting hit her husband on the leg. No, you're wrong. This is so shameful. I mean, the moment a wife acts like that, she's not only embarrassing him, she really embarrasses herself. This is such a total disrespect. She's not putting himself above her. They're not even equal. She's like, I am it. I am gonna fix you. I'm gonna tell you, no, you gotta know your space. And basically, she's treating him like a dog. That this relationship never gonna work. She's the boss in the house, and therefore, when she's the boss in the house, she will have to do work, organize everything, figure out finances, make money, plan everything, and that kind of relationship in the long run not gonna ruin her and her husband, but also will teach their kids. A woman is a boss in the house, and no matter how educated she is, and she traveled to Canada and she traveled to Switzerland and she has so many degrees, she doesn't know, she's fully out of touch and in line with her core, who she is as a woman. But again, going back, that's a good question, Samantha. Thank you for that. So again, this knowledge is for you and your self-awareness. It's purely for your inner growth. Don't worry about teaching others. The second point we're going to go over today, I wanted to make it, is that you don't need to look for extremes in yourself. You're not the most fallen, you're not the most sinful person in the world, and you're not the saint. Sometimes people, after learning a bit of psychology or spirituality, or when they go to medical school, they start diagnosing themselves with every flaw possible. You're not dying, nothing is wrong with you, you're just learning. If you're here, you're studying, you're seeking growth, that already means you're doing well. You may not be at the highest level, but you're not at the lowest level either. And that's a good news. So when I describe these extreme examples of pride and humility, don't panic. They're meant to help you to see the contrast, to recognize where you are on the spectrum. Most of us live somewhere in the middle. The most important thing is not to aim for perfection. Like, do you remember as I shared 17 kilometers when my guru was in the United States and I tried to run? And no, it's not going to work. That's striking for perfection. Let it go. We need to make sure we're in the right direction. We have the inner vector and it's pointing towards the truth, humility, and learning. If your direction is right, everything else will naturally start improving. And finally, the third point, we can never truly understand something if we don't know what we're trying to understand. For example, imagine walking in the forest. And if you don't know what trees are there, you will just see leaves and greenery. But if someone tells you that these are the pine trees, these are the birch trees, these are the mushrooms, these are the raspberries, and suddenly you're noticing them. They were always there. But before, your awareness wasn't tuned to see them. Life works the same way. If you don't know what you're looking for, you will not find it. But if you start seeing it, you're going to start noticing. And you're going to start noticing in which mood are you being in life? In which mood are you being in your relationship and marriage? But if you don't even know what you're supposed to be looking for, you'll miss it, even if it's in front of you. So right now, I'm going to begin to talk about the pride and humility. When we're being in the space of a learner, then we're practicing the humility. And pride is inside of us, talks in a quiet voice and says, it has to be my way. I'm attached that I am right. I already know, why should I listen? It's not my fault. And there are two opinions, mine and the wrong one. And if things are not going my way, the person feels upset, angry, disappointed, and hurt. And that's how everything starts. And the person in that moment is not in the reality. It's not even in the present moment. You, if you're in the space, have your own view of this person, the reality, and the world. And I want to share with you an example. I used to be a victim in my relationship with my mother. I couldn't forgive her for years. And when I grew up, the first thing I did, I moved out, I went to college. And guess what happened? Because I couldn't forgive her, I was attracting women who were verbally or emotionally abusive. And then my friends in the class will say, do you see how not closure and not forgiveness of your mom creates that only women, the girls with bipolar disorder, follows you and you're attracting them? And I was laughing, but at the same time, I was so hurt because I couldn't forgive my mother fast enough. All of the friends that I was attracting, the female friends, they had a bipolar disorder and they were very verbally or emotionally abusive, mean, and angry. The moment I forgave my mother, those female friends fell apart and I started attracting completely different type of friends. And so if we have internal conflict, sooner or later it shows up either in our men, either in our loved one friends, relatives, colleagues, or someone in life. In order for us to learn what something needs to be corrected, what something is not working. So for now, I would like for you to raise your hand to share. What do you think right now you are attracting or you already have in your life that is not working? Like for me, I was attracting a female friends with bipolar disorder. That was not working for me. They were mean, angry, and using and abusing me. Until I forgive my mother. But right now, you want to just start showing up and sharing what is something that is not working. Maybe I'm single, or I'm attracting emotionally unavailable man, or the man in a relationship with me is constantly arguing, or whatever that it is. Start paying attention. What is happening in your life? Who wants to share?
I will.
I mean, I could really relate to your story because I also had this war like with my mom, and I always was very resentful towards her for always, being so perfectionistic with me and mean to me, and how I grew up. And I actually realized that I did attract like mean bosses or women that were just also abusing me because I was holding this grudge and all these ill feelings towards my mom, which I just recently started to, try to understand her too and where she's coming from, and that she only did the best she could, and that I need to forgive her because she just did the best she could with me.
Yeah. Diana, really great. Right now, you are doing the work with her, but it's still in the head. I'm trying to understand her. I see where she's coming from. This is head, which is a great step. And when you're going to get to the space of humility, that's going to kick in your soul. And when we're in a space of humility, something completely shifts. And we're going to begin to talk about it. But this is really great. Thank you for sharing, Diana. Samantha, you wanted to share, right?
Yeah. Mine would probably be dishonesty or deception. And it comes
Honesty and
deception.
deception. Got it. So honesty and deception, that's where you feel that the breakdown happens. So life shows up to you, whether either through men or other people, you feel there's lack of honesty and there's deception. And that is the filter you're listening from. There's deception. People are dishonest. Got it. Very good. And by the way, as long as this filter going to be standing here, guess what's going to show up in your life?
dishonest people.
Exactly. And even, you see, when we have that listening, this is the space of the pride where you are judging the person. Even if the person is honest, in your space, they're going to show up because you're listening through the filter of dishonesty. That's all that's going to show up. You're going to be looking for evidence to prove up they're dishonest. Do you get it? And so now I would like for you to look, each one of you, is it really about them or is it about me? It's never really
I
about them.
definitely,
Yes. Yes. Who is resisting that? It's never about them, ladies. Who has a resistance? Sarita, you also wanted to share. Go ahead.
But I was thinking of an example with my children because lately I honestly was thinking this morning that they're being unkind to one another, like, calling each other names and things like that. And so, I mean, I do have a bit of resistance when you say, well, it's me. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. I cannot think of something right now, but the only thing that shows up is how, again, until I forgave my mother, everything that was showing up in my life is angry and mean and dramatic women who are giving me such a hard time, and I was so struggling. And it's never about them. I didn't do my work, right? And so,
You're right.
yeah.
It just dawned on me, my ex-husband, who is their father. I do need to work on forgiving him. Wow.
Yes, thank you, Sarita. Thank you for acknowledging that. And you gotta see, the kids are half of us and half of the husband or ex-husband or the man. And until you forgive ex, you see and you concentrate on that half. Do you get it? And so that's what they are kind of reflecting on you. And it's so hard. It's like, oh, they're mean to each other. And it's like bouncing back at you. Really good. Anyone else?
I have a question.
Yes, Helena.
So I attract unemotionally available men. Um, but I'm just trying to picture myself. Like I am an emotional person and I like affection. But when you get resistance from the other person, how is that you?
Right.
But when I try to, let's say I want to show affection or something, and then I get resistance, you're saying that it's me. But how is that me if I'm showing affection and I'm getting resistance? Then you kind of just back off and you cool off. So you're like, okay, I'm not going to approach it again.
Oh, this is such a good one. You are just like 2, 3 steps ahead. Can you hold on when we're gonna get to the slide when there'll be 3 pictures and you're still not gonna get the answer? Could you ask me this again? Because it's coming. It's coming your way, Helena. Just 2 steps ahead of time. We're definitely gonna go over it. Thank you so much. Just write down for now for yourself what's showing up. What shows up for you, Helena? You're starting to notice I'm attracting emotional and available men. Same thing, Olga, for you. And the lack of boundaries. Samantha, you're writing down deception and dishonesty. That's what I would like for you to do. Okay? Just be in the presence, whatever shell shows up to you, and Selena and Sarita, just write it down. Okay? So it's not the part of us that resists the correction, because again, let's be authentic. When we're in a space of the pride, we are in a space of I am right, they're wrong, and there's no other way. And in the background, we are secretly do not want to admit to ourselves that we want to control how even others see us. And we hate being wrong. It's the space limiting, and because pride blocks growth, the love even feels like a threat. And feedback feels like a rejection.
write it down, ladies. This is very important, because when we are in a space of pride and we live in that space, even love feels like a threat, and feedback feels like rejection. And our first reaction when something doesn't go well or goes wrong, what is it? What is it for? Who is it to blame for? It's my husband's fault. It's my boyfriend's fault. It's my parents' fault. And really, in the background, it's God's fault, because what the hell is he doing there? And we're blaming even him. It's somebody's fault. Society, education, money, financial situation, marriage. We gotta blame someone. That's how pride shows up. And what arises in such of that person is anger, rejection, and resentment. And the person in that state will act inadequately. Can she look for the right solution in that situation? Of course not. That means this situation provokes you to make even more mistakes. And this anger and rejection leads to the person starting to complain even more, criticize, dominate, argue, and eventually even provoke the person to hit you, or even you are hitting them. It could even escalate to the physical abuse. That's what pride is driving us, to get to that extreme point of rage and hate. But it starts very innocently. Just a little complaint, just a little criticism, dissatisfaction, and then it escalates. And as a result, you become even more entangled in your righteousness. And when we analyze all of this, we really see that the person who is really proud is really disconnecting from who? Who wants to guess? When you are in a state of pride, who are you disconnected from?
From yourself, from the creator?
Yes. You are disconnected from the creator. And that is the definition of Vedic understanding of what the person who is prideful, is fully disconnected from creator. The person feels that I am independent. It's the same thing as the liver right now will say, you know what? I want to be independent. I don't care how your heart is pumping the blood. I don't care about the lungs and the kidneys and the brain. I want to be independent. How long do you think the liver gonna work?
Not long.
Not long. And I want to share with you an example. When I was 8 years old, and my mother was verbally and emotionally abusive almost every day. And one day I decided, well, I'm old enough. I'm 8 years old. I'm just gonna run away. So I packed up my things, my clothes, 2 sandwiches, 2 apples, and I decided to leave. Well, it was winter, and by 5 o'clock it was dark. At 6 o'clock, it was obviously cold. And at 7 o'clock, when I finish eating a sandwich and apple, I start thinking, where am I gonna sleep? What am I gonna eat for breakfast? And it's really windy and it's really cold. And by 9 p.m., it really hit me that I cannot really live without my mom. No matter how much I dislike her, and back then I really hated her, how am I gonna function? How am I gonna live? And this is what actually happens when we're really getting present, that we are living in the mood of pride, that we are disconnected from Creator Himself, who gives us the energy and the space of our existence. And the second is happiness. As the liver connects back to the body, to all the organs, everything flows again. As I came back at 9 p.m., Mom, can I come back home? She opens the door, like, go to your room. And I'm like, well, she's mean, but at least I have a shelter. And everything starts to function again. But we as a human beings really think that we actually can have a harmonious and loving relationship disconnecting from the source. And when we are in a state of the pride, we are disconnected from him and we think we're independent beings. And the truth is, when we are interacting, even right now, you want something from me, and that's normal. I want something from you, that's normal. But between us and in every one of us, there is a source. But when we are in the state of pride, complaining, even not out loud, in our head, we're fully disconnected from him. And in that state, all there is they are wrong and I am right. And in the next meeting, by the way, on Sunday, you'll start to see that is how karma is accumulating. That process called karma. And this is your first step to it. Karma really means actions and what happens afterwards, what that brings you. And being prideful, it's already a karmic energy that you are putting out there. And so right now I'm going to show you a slide, but ladies, last time when I was showing the slides, I've noticed only one was showing up. So as I'm going to be changing them, please tell me if they're changing or not, because technology is my weakest point. I need your help, okay? So help me out. I'm very, very bad at it. I created the slides, but how will they work? I really depend on you. Please share with me, okay? So let me get the slides. And somebody unmute yourself so you can tell me if you see 2 circles right now. Can you tell me if you're seeing that?
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Let's look at the space. Evolution of pride, and here's the evolution of humility. In evolution of pride, we are separated from Creator because there is deficiency. And here, ladies, you gotta get, when we come from the space of the deficiency, it's very important for you, ladies, to understand. So when we have a deficiency of this love, we become like hunters. It's innocently. We feel like we're just complaining that our husband is not paying for things, or he's not complimenting us, or we go on a date and a man is kind of cold, insensitive, or the way he responds, we don't like him. But in the background, we are whipping them because we're being hunters with beautiful our hair and feminine body. But in the reality, we're not different from them because we are in a state of pride. And in a state of pride, we are disconnected from Creator, and there's deficiency. Again, look at me. In the soul, there's a deficiency of love. And we're complaining, criticizing, even in our head thinking something is wrong with them. But without knowing, when you're complaining and criticizing, you are shifting from the state of Rajas, which is the lust, the passion that we discussed. And then as it drops to disappointment, upset, and anger, you're slowly shifting to tamas, which is the ignorance. And that's how you're accumulating the negative karma, because you are fully decided that you're going to disconnect from Creator. And so this is where you are self-centered. So it starts with ignorance. You don't like something, you're disappointed, you're upset. And that leads to, again, the arrow, to arrogance. And then your low self-esteem goes down because you are not feeling whole and complete. Then it kicks into being vanity and humiliation, then anger, and then violence and rudeness. And this is how the state of ignorance operates. And it started actually with just a small complaint. But that small complaint comes from you being dissatisfied. When we are dissatisfied in life, please, ladies, understand that we are disconnected from Creator. And this next Sunday, I will go step by step by explaining. But for now, I would like for you to just get one thing, even though it's not the full picture, that everything that we have in our life, 100%, we have created it. Everything the good that you have comes from your good deeds, not just this life, but the previous life, accumulation of a good karma. And the good karma is accumulation. If you're beautiful, that's a good karma. You have a good health, it's a good karma. You have a good husband, it's a good karma you had in the previous life. You have money, it's a good karma. Now, you have bad health, no money, husband, no husband, or lazy, all the bad karma. All of you just actions and inactions, not just now, but in the past. So karma works 24/7. Everything in life is very balanced. It comes from Creator. There's no mistakes. Like the way our body functions, the liver, the lungs, we cannot even fully understand it. The way the planets are moving, the way the clocks are ticking, the way the wind is blowing, the way the sun is shining. Everything comes from Creator. And so the moment you're in a position of complaining, something is wrong. I am single. He's bad. He's not doing something. You are in a state of dispride. If you're in a state of humility as a student or learner, or the feminine energy in other ways, it starts with connection to Creator. And then you understand that life is full of abundance and you have already so much. You have 2 eyes, you have 2 ears, you have the body, you can listen, you can smell, you have a home, you have a shelter, you have a parents, you have husband or no husband, but you have a body with arms and legs. And then when you're fully connecting to Him, you understand you're here being of service, to serve others. Because when you're full, you're nothing but love here. There's no deficiency. You're love. And then you wanted to serve. You wanted to help. But when we're deficient here in the pride, we're like hunters and we're demanding. You owe me. You owe me to be loyal to me. You owe to me be honest with me. You owe to pay, provide, and protect. There's this righteousness that you owe me. And the moment that you owe me, nobody wants to do anything. Then go do it yourself if you're this righteous. And Virginia Satir, which is a famous therapist, she has a formula for the vase or the pot of emotions. She shared a really profound thing, saying that if we have a Creator, on the bottom of our pot, there's actually a bottom. But if we don't have a foundation with the Creator and connection to Him, there is no bottom. And no matter how much emotions you're putting in, they come out because there is no bottom. Everything comes out. But if there is a bottom and God is like a sunshine on the bottom, no matter how much struggle you have in life, you're still looking from the sense is, I can go through it. All of that is happening in life is there for me because I am the learner. And if you look at your life, Creator is giving you the lessons, whether it's through the kids or through the health or through the man, in order to shake you up a little bit, to wake you up and to say, come to me. Because He wants to have a relationship with us. Because if we don't go through the struggles in life, we forget about Him. If in my late 20s, the guy wouldn't cheat with my girlfriend, and I struggled it was so painful. And if my mother didn't put me through so much misery in my life, I would never come to the Creator the way that I did. Now these two people who caused me so much pain, my mother, who was emotional and verbal abuse and sometimes physical, and this guy who cheated with my friend and took 3 of my friends away with him, making up the stories about me, and they took his side. Now I look at these 2 experiences as a blessing, because I came to the knees to Creator. I cried so much in my life, like I've never cried, but I got it. I got it that he wants me to build the relationship with him, because no one loves us like he does. No one could be the best friend to us like he can. He loves us so unconditionally. No matter how bad of a mistake we made, how messed up of our life, he is there for us. And that's what he wants. And in the position of the humility and the learner and the student in life, you understand that nothing is really bad in life. And then you take full responsibility for the good and the bad. You are no longer a victim. I talked the other day with my friend, and when I shared that with her, she looked at me, and she was going through divorce last year, and she told me, you know what, I fully get that in the space of the humility, I am so grateful that right now, even though I am divorced, I make my own choices. That I can travel whenever I want to, whenever I want to. That I don't need to feel the criticism and anger from my husband. She started to see so many pluses. Because she was beating herself up, thinking that no, she should have saved the marriage. And how will that help? We have to really look at what's so, and seeing the greatness in what we have. And at the end of that conversation, she felt so grateful for all of the lessons that her husband taught her, and what kind of man she really now gonna be looking for, without being a victim anymore, because the pride attaches us to being a victim. And then, ladies, please tell me if you're seeing the second slide. Do you see it?
Yes.
Perfect. The God on the top, material nature, and the soul, yes?
Yes.
So when we're in a state of pride, this is how it works. If we are in a state of pride, God doesn't exist. We're taking God out, and guess what we're left with? There's no devotion. There's just time and karma. We take action, we make mistakes, and then there's results. And we make a lot of mistakes, and we're repeating the same pattern. And all we have then time and karma, because we're living in this material nature where there's one, I am here on the top. That's how the state of pride looks like. But in a state of humility, when we're turning to our feminine nature and essence, we understand that at the top, there is actually Supreme Being, Creator Himself. And when we take Him to the top, we really understand that we're like microorganisms that all connected to Him. The trees, the suns, the humans, the animals, the oceans, the land, our relationships with friends and parents, all we are connected to Him. And then we can start seeing that this person particularly who is causing you pain is doing that not because it's a personal thing to you, but maybe that person is actually hurting themselves. You're starting tuning to who they are, because from the state of pride, we really want to use people because we have deficiency of love, because love comes only really from Creator. And when we have the deficiency, we want to use people. And when we don't want to use people, we continue to accumulate negative karma. And in the background, we're really complaining that you owe me something, that this shouldn't be like this. But from the space of humility, there's just lessons. And every person that comes into our life is trying to teach us something. And if we're attracting emotionally unavailable people, if we're looking from the Vedic knowledge, it's not just about the father. It's really about us. We were emotionally unavailable. We can look from psychological point of view in the previous relationship. Or if we look from the Vedic point of view, we were emotionally unavailable in our previous lives. And that's how, in order for us to learn how it feels so painful when someone is emotionally unavailable, we had to get the father like that, or a mother like that, or a father like that. Because we only learn when we are flipped in the same situation. For example, when I was 18, I was dating a guy, I really liked him, it was an innocent relationship, but after a year, I grew out of it. And I got bored and I lost interest. And I didn't have the courage to tell him. And I started dating another guy. He found out. I broke his heart. He was suffering for a long time. But I couldn't really see how much pain I caused him until I got the guy in my late 20s who didn't just cheat on me. He took my friends away. So I had to experience that. How it really feels when we're betraying someone. And so you have to be really bold and courageous to see, are you emotionally unavailable really also now? Or you were in a previous relationship? Or really, if you cannot connect, because sometimes we're in a state of pride, we cannot even see our faults because we're thinking we're right. There's nothing wrong with us. There's only wrong with them. And then we really then have to get that everything that we're getting in life is the aftermath of what we did in our previous lives. And that's what this really formula is showing to us. But if we put again Supreme God on the top, the way our time flows, we are in this material nature, material world, which is constantly pushes us away from Creator. But at the same time, we recognize that I have a soul, and the soul also wants to serve and be devoted to Creator. And recognizing that, okay, if I want to be happy in this very material world that is very disconnected from Creator, in order for me to be happy, I have to again to come back to Him. He is at the center of everything. He's at the top. The pride doesn't recognize Him. The pride wants to say, if I didn't find a job, oh, I am bad. If I didn't get a boyfriend, something wrong with me. It's all about me, 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 me. But the person from the space of humility recognizes, no, everything that is happening to me is because I am responsible for it. My husband is abusive because I was previously abusive in a previous relationship or previous life. Do you see I'm teaching you, ladies? Can you imagine how many women I've hurt in my previous life that I'm teaching you? It's not just because. I obviously were a man in the previous life. And so karma, the way it works, it's gonna catch up to us sooner or later. And so we just have to recognize that if I'm in a state of pride, I am disconnected from Creator. There is no God in life. I'm the right one. Now, the second slide. Do you see 2 life strategies, ladies?
Yes.
Wonderful, thank you. So here it is clear. Here if I'm in a state of pride, why is this happening to me? I am the victim. Why is he cheating? Why he's not paying? Why am I attracting this kind of man? Why? I am a victim. Or if you're in a state of humility as a student, you're looking at life. What is life, what is Creator is teaching me? These are 2 different moods, 2 different states, and they're very different. Here you're proud, but you're also a victim, or you're really bulldozing over because you have deficiency in you and you're constantly whipping everyone, or you're being a victim. Here you're humble, you're soft. Again, 2 views. In a state of pride, you're rejecting that there's any problems with you, rejecting other people if something is not going your way, and you know everything. People in a state of pride cannot even accept that someone can even teach them anything, because they listen from the filter, I know everything. I know I'm right. It's very hard to get to the position of student if you're in a state of the pride. And they're just blaming others. And in the state of the student, in the state of the humility, you accept whenever things are happening. Have I done that in the past? If not, that means Creator's trying to teach me something. What is he trying to teach me? You know, Olga was sharing earlier today, I was going to the meeting, she was saying, and I was just asking Creator, just create the outcome that will work for the best. Meaning she's surrendering, no matter how the business meeting will go. And that is the truth of the humility, fully surrendering. Okay, show me how it's supposed to be. When we're in a state of this humility, we're trusting that no matter the good or the bad happens, it's his will. And even if something good happens, you are not taking it. It's like, oh, I've created it. It's my result. People who are famous and singing, they're thinking they're beautiful or have a good voice because of them. It's not them. It's Creator gave them this gift. Because of their accumulated good karma, now they're famous or they're rich. But because they think it's them, they're gonna waste all of it in this lifetime. And next life they will be born again, poor, broken, or without something, arms or legs. Because they're wasting it. It's not your, how can I explain it? It's not your result. The proudful person will say, it's all me. And if something bad happens, it will say, why this is happening to me? And this person who is in this space of the student and humility will understand, no, actually, it's all Creator. It's Creator's will. If this is happening, that means Creator wants me to be in this good relationship or help others or benefit from it in order to serve others. But it's not your personal. That is the state of pride. And the happiness is only my responsibility, no one else's. Not husband to make me happy, not a teacher to make me happy, not the boss or the worker or the parents. It's my personal responsibility. So who wants to share right now what is starting to open up?
Actually, just the other day, I was talking to Lane and I was telling him that lately I feel like if I say, I hope it doesn't rain, it rains. And if I say, I hope it rains, it doesn't rain. And I said the words, I'm like, I wonder what I'm trying to be taught here. Maybe not to be attached but I almost feel like in that I'm being both, because I'm like, I'm finding all these problems. Nothing's going my way. But then I'm also in the state of, what am I supposed to be learning? Like, this is uncharacteristically not going my way.
Thank you for sharing, Samantha. Yeah, yeah. And when things are not going your way, how do you feel?
A little frustrated and disappointed.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you for acknowledging that. But do you starting to connect that it's a state of the pride?
Yes, yes.
Very good.
Even though my mind is being like, oh, I need to learn something, I'm recognizing that I'm still in that state of pride, even though I am thinking I'm supposed to learn.
Yes, thank you, because that is the state. First recognizing I am in that state. And then I'm actually going to show you how can you shift. Anyone else who wants to share? This is
I will,
important, ladies. Go ahead,
I
Serena.
will share for me what I recognize just in talking with my children, because like I said, this morning I was thinking about it. And it is me being prideful because I'm looking at them as a reflection of me. So when they behave a certain way, I get more like, oh no, I have to control this. I have to stop this because it's making me look bad. So I see that that's pride.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. Because again, when they're reflecting us or our significant other, that triggers us. Whatever that we haven't accepted in ourselves, it's going to have a way to show up. For me, it was in my girlfriends, as you remember when I was younger. For you, it's in your children. But it will always find a way. So really good, Sarita. Anyone else? Yes, Selena.
I guess I'm listening, and I definitely feel like sometimes I'm in that deficiency where you're about my husband, that I'm complaining that there's a certain treatment that I want from him, and I understand, I guess, that that's the creator's will. But I guess what I struggle with is when to stand up for myself in a way and when not. It's not that he's a mean person. It's just sometimes I do get sensitive and my feelings hurt. And I think I overly complain about, you hurt my feelings doing this or that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I should just take it to God, because it's obvious when I'm hurt, it's anyone can tell. It's hard for me to hide it, I guess.
Right. You got to get Selena. This is a really good one. When we are hurt and sad, kind of, that somebody hurt us, this is unexpressed anger. And that's dominating the relationship also. And so we go from extremes. I'm going to be quiet, but that is also dominating because in the background you're resenting him and you're still angry when you're quiet, when you're not saying, or you're lashing out or complaining or being angry at him out loud or in your head. These are still all the state of pride. The humility kicks in when you're shifting from the state of pride to humility. And question for you, how do you think, ladies, we can actually shift to humility?
With being grateful.
Beautiful, Helena. Thank you. Yes. Yes, because in the space of the pride, we're looking at life and our man from the deficiency. He's lacking something. Before I meditate in the morning, I start with my list in my head. By now, I already know everything I'm grateful for. And the list about my husband goes on and on and on and on. About our home, about our son, about our relatives, about my health, about our life, about you ladies. It's all the gratefulness. How much I appreciate each one of you and my husband. And you know what happens when we are grateful? When he walks after work home, I open the door, I greet him, I kiss him, I hug him, and I say, honey, are you hungry? But in the background, ladies, do you know how I look at him? If God is here, he is here. It's almost like you're the second best thing in the world after Creator. And I'll tell you a secret. Every man wants us to look at him this way. But that state only comes when we're in a state of humility. As I'm talking about it, I'm getting moved how much I appreciate and love and grateful to my husband and the love that the life that we have. If we don't have that humility to recognize what they are bringing, we're always going to continue to looking at the lack. And that deficiency, it's really not about them. It's a distraction for us to really continue doing the work and connecting to the source.
Because psychologists really did a really extraordinary research in the 1980s. And what they conclude that the parents who were coming from 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s when they were born, they were lacking so much love. At the most, we got maybe 10 to 20% of love from them. And so imagine, and if they on top of they were traumatized, we got maybe only 5 or 10% of love. That means we're walking around with 90% deficiency. Can you imagine raising a happy and healthy child with 90% deficiency? This is impossible. And so we're walking around outside in the world thinking that I can create a relationship work. I can be happy. Impossible. Everyone is empty inside, 10% filled, best case scenario, so 90% deficiency. And everybody walking is like, you give me that 10%. And we want to squeeze out of other people. And it's not just husband. It's the kids, it's the parents, it's the friends, it's the boss, it's everyone. We want to use and get whatever they have. And they're just fighting and pushing you back. And they want to get something out of you. And if we don't turn to Creator, who can only Him can fulfill us, we're just hunters. Walking around and slowly killing other people. And our 90% of communication is nonverbal communication. We can kill another person with just our look. Sometimes we walk into the store and the person may be wearing long dress and cover their hair because maybe they're Muslim, maybe they're Orthodox Jewish or someone else. We're already looking something is wrong with them. And with just one eye sight, we can kill someone. Or the man is approaching you in the grocery store and say, can I help you with something? And you can look at him, I can do it myself. And you don't even have to say something. You can just kill him with your eyes, with your nonverbal body language. That's how powerful we are. And so we're either hurting, diminishing, killing someone, or when we're shifting to humility, we're uplifting them and looking at them. If the person really cannot be emotionally available and so distant and cold, what have happened to them and their life? When sometimes people are sharp, mean, and angry, you know how I look at them? I can only imagine what happened in their childhood. I already had my emotionally abusive and verbally abusive mother. It was tough. And when sometimes people are mean, I'm just, wow, how broken they are. They're blaming and attacking and doing their things, you know, of how much struggle they've gone through. And you know what I do with the people like that? I tell them how wonderful they are, how right they are. That's the last thing they want to hear, that they're wrong. They have heard all of their life how wrong they are. And maybe you can turn to that humility. And I'm not saying that this is a lack of boundaries. No, boundaries have to be there, because if we're not going to have boundaries with our kids, they're going to grow up narcissists. If we're not going to have boundaries with our husbands, They're gonna walk on top of us. But we gotta have this like a stoplight. We gotta really, like when I said we're walking into the forest, we need to see the birch trees, the pine trees, the raspberries, and the mushrooms. Or another analogy of the stoplight. When there's a red, when there's yellow, and when there's a green. And the green is maybe teaching, like my husband when we met. I mean, the Russian culture, ladies, you know, do you think for a Russian man will be easy to hug, kiss, and give compliments? No! Are you kidding me? And so my husband was not just, I could see the core that he was a very humble and wonderful, intelligent, and funny man. But yeah, he was cold and dry, that's for sure. But I saw the core. And little by little, as I was telling him, honey, let's do cuddle. Honey, let's do TLC. He's like, what is TLC? And I'll say, tender love and care. And I will say, 7 o'clock, let's do TLC, or let's do cuddle. Or sometimes when he's too serious, I say, honey, let's go do spooning or cuddling. And he smiles. Now, after so many years, he smiles, but it took years. And so, believe it or not, ladies, it's even that our responsibility to shift him and to mold him, like I was saying, building a man like a Lego, like my son has lots of Legos and he puts on my table, mama, so you can think of me, starts with us. When we're in a state of this humility and the feminine flow, we really see how we can craft them. Now my husband is so humble and loving, and I could tease him and I could hug him and he hugs me and he gives me the compliments, but it took a while. But first it starts with our work. When we accept ourselves and start feeling our deficiency and we become full of love, we stop demanding from them. That's when we start to crafting them. But first craft starts with us. This is very important, ladies. Stop focusing out there. Yeah. Questions. Yes. Go ahead, Samantha. Go ahead, Sarita. Go ahead, Samantha. Go ahead, Sarita.
I've been, so back to like being very grateful and doing a list of gratitude for what our husbands do.
Yeah.
I have a little struggle with when I verbally thank him, or like I've intentionally trying to like pick things and praise him for them. I've noticed that he will, the things that I thank him for, he'll use them almost as like leverage sometimes, like, because I did this, will you do this? Or like it's and then I don't want to do it anymore because I don't, is that, like you were saying, just persist with that and he'll like stop doing that, or is that something that I can adjust?
That's a really good question, Samantha. Again, there's no tricks here, okay? Because you are still looking for, I can do this or I can do that. It's almost like no. What I'm talking about, foundation. And in the foundation, because right now he triggers you. Let's admit that, right? He triggers you. And the reason why he triggers you, because it's bouncing back at you. You have deficiency, he has deficiency, and those two deficiencies are fighting each other. Does this make sense? And in the short term, right now, there is no trick I can say to you that will fix this. No trick. It's just consistency over time. When you're going to become slowly but surely fuller, all of a sudden you're going to see, oh, I just complimented him. And 2 hours later, he's coming back at me. And all of a sudden you're going to see, mom and dad were demanding so much of him, So now when I'm asking something, he's resisting. This is his deficiency. That's all. And when there's deficiency, there will be either anger, upset, disappointment, or hurt or resentment, or other kind of forms which we're going to talk about it in a second. But you got to see the bigger picture. You're talking about squirrels and I'm showing you elephant. The problem is the elephant, deficiency. And no man will be able to give you that. And he wants this from you, to feel your deficiency. And you want him to feel your deficiency. And 10% against 10%, that's where the problem is. I don't have this anymore because there's no deficiency. I can give you this now because there's no deficiency. I have enough for husband, me, and son, and even you. Do you get it? But that comes only from above. No other human being. And people are breaking up and thinking, I'm going to get another boyfriend, another husband. Still deficiency, another deficiency, and another deficiency. You're getting it, right? Really good.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Sarita?
I was going to ask, which I'm kind of picking up some things, but I was going to ask, when we recognize that we're in that state of deficiency, like, what should we do? Because, you know, in a moment you may be angry, or you may want to, I don't know, act out some way. So it's like, what do we do with that?
What are you grateful for?
Okay.
Because in the moment of deficiency, you're in a state of pride, you're disconnecting from Creator. Yeah, like a fish got hooked and you went south, right? And the only way you can bring back is what you can be grateful for. You have kids and they're healthy, and you have 4 kids. It's amazing. And you have home, and you have health, and you have this other guy. Yes, he's not spiritual. Has his goals and etc. But Creator sends that to you. And yes, maybe you don't need to be in a relationship with him, but you can be grateful that you have this other guy. That builds also your self-esteem, which is great. Or whatever else, and the ex-husband calls you, and he says something mean, and you can still be grateful. You had to go through his relationship because now you have 4 children. And God will give you everything you need to go through. Because if you think about it, yes, I had a really rough mother. But Creator sends me a good husband. And I had good friends after I forgave my mother. And I still have good friends. And I have amazing mother-in-law and father-in-law and amazing son. So we cannot have everything bad in our life. Creator always gives us something to lean on, to stand on. It cannot just be everything bad. We have something good. There's always a balance. Any other questions? No? All right. So then let's look at this. So the feelings of pride. So here's how the feelings of pride shows up. Either we're indifferent, we show our pride, or he didn't call me, oh, that's fine. He didn't ask me out, that's fine. Like, we're indifferent. In the reality, we are pretty angry, but we're suppressing that disappointment or frustration with them. Or he didn't do what I asked him. Indifference. The second stage, it's anger or rage. So how does the student who is humble and connects to the humility looks at life? It connects to the humility that every person goes through something. We are all here going through lessons. Nobody has it easy. Nobody. Everybody is learning their lessons. It's tough for each person. For somebody, they're dealing with money. With others, they're dealing with health. Others with relationship, with parents, husband or kids. Everybody is struggling. So the person who is learning and looking through that filter in life, they understand that everybody is struggling. The second is that these people are accept that I'm going through lesson. If I'm going through a difficult period in life, it's because Creator is trying to show me something. Like again, I'm sorry, Olga, I'm using your example right now. If the business meeting is not going well because the boundaries are not there, the Creator going to be sending you more and more people in order to learn how to put boundaries. And if you ladies, other ladies are attracting emotionally unavailable men, you got to learn, okay, how can I overcome that lesson? And by the way, ladies, with emotionally unavailable man, you gotta, when you're turning to humility, you're accepting them for who they are. Yes, right now they're emotionally unavailable because they've gone through so much pain in the past. That means their feelings, they couldn't feel safe. Either mom or dad were criticizing them. What? You're like woman? Why are you showing me your emotions? They got shut down. And so if you are looking at them from the space of the humility, you'll understand. They're just not feeling safe with you yet to show you emotions. And if you're whipping them from the space of pride, why? Why would they even show you their emotions? And the third position is solving the task. Yeah, you see that I'm single, or yes, I have emotional unavailable man, or yes, I have the problem with dishonesty. How can I overcome that? And again, turning to Creator.
So I have a question.
Yes, yes, Helena.
So my husband is like an alpha male, also grew up in a Russian home. Father never gave him any attention or emotion, even to this day, like very cold relationship. And so I have started to accept this is how he is based on how he grew up. But he is now like this with my children, specifically with my eldest son. And my eldest is also like kind of mimics his behavior now. He's 15. So I always try to tell him like be calm or be soft, like don't like be as aggressive because maybe he wants your love and affection so that he can also reciprocate it back. But obviously it's hard for me to teach my husband how to do certain things. So how can I help in that situation?
Again, looking at the symptom, I'm going to show you the roots. But that's a great question. Thank you, Helena. For that, I was planning to go over it next time on next Sunday, but I'll do it a little bit, show you where it is coming from. So imagine, in the previous life, your son have gone through series of events in life. Then he dies. All of us, we die. And then Creator helps you to learn the lessons from your previous life. And so it connects the parents and the soul of your son with you and your father in order to learn certain lessons. He was emotionally unavailable or angry sometimes or cold. So your son chose you and him. And you're now trying to prevent him to learn something. Because again, when we take Creator out of the equation, we're thinking, I am protecting my kids. You're actually doing less than 5%. The rest is actually up to Creator. How you are not even know why you attracted this man, why you married him. It's all karmically come to us. And same thing with kids. We gotta actually surrender and trust that Creator does his job. Makes sense? And also on the physical and psychological realm, you can also think of it this way. He chose you and he chose your husband. And even in a family dynamic, both are evil, of course, kids suffer. But in this dynamic, husband is strict, but you're emotional and kind. So there's always a balance, yin yang. So your son will be fine. Don't stop him from overcoming his lessons. It was his choice. You and your husband, his father, was his choice. And Creator just helped him karmically to connect you both.
Okay.
Yeah. But before we go, I would like for you to share, at least for 1 minute. I will take you just 3 minutes, maybe 5 total. If you can share, what are you taking from today's meeting, so that it's not out there, but it's actually real and you're connecting to it. What are you taking from this meeting? And Olga, I'm going to share that meditation with you, since you're going to miss it. So you'll have that. I'll share that recording for you. All right?
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So what are you taking from today's meeting?
For me, it's to continue to connect to the Creator and just have faith in Him.
Yeah.
And just be grateful. Continue to be grateful for everything.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Helena. Beautiful.
For me,
I think-
it's recognizing whenever I'm feeling that feeling of deficiency that I'm in pride. That's something that I'm going to take with me.
Yes, really powerful, Sarita. You're not a pride, you're hunting. You're whipping and you're hunting, you're hurting, and you're trying to get something out of someone, and they're also deficient. So that's a really good one. Thank you. Yeah. That's where we get most of the people are in a state of ignorance and lost / passion, Thomas and Rogers. Everybody's deficient and everybody's hunting and trying to get someone down and use. We're not using anymore the chairs and tables and furniture and material things. We're using each other. And that's what happens when we're in a deficiency. Anyone else?
I think that for me, can you hear me?
Yes.
It's the strangest thing, actually, since my conversation with you happened just before I started Feminine Circle and this, that actually was the initiation into what I'm currently feeling, which is complete alignment with everything that was spoken about today. So I guess that would be what I'm taking from it. I'm just enjoying the complete understanding that I feel that I'm having. And I've just really, in those, since the conversation up in the last couple of weeks, have really, really connected with parts of what you've been teaching and my connection to Creator and the trust there, and realizing that I was in what you were saying as pride and deficiency. And I've already been every morning in this state of like huge appreciation and gratefulness, and been in like happy tears every day. And the interesting thing is my husband is away on business, and I'm feeling more connected to him than when he's here. And he's already, I feel like, on an energetic level responding without me saying a word. Like, he's responding to my energy, and like the alignment and connection that I'm feeling is so intense and so grateful and so connected and just beautiful. Like, it's so beautiful. I'm just really basking in the new understanding, the new perspective, and really loving it. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're not thanking me. This knowledge, again, from above, it's a Vedic knowledge, but I got your acknowledgement. Absolutely. You're welcome. But again, I don't want to take a credit, because again, it's not my knowledge. I'm just a vessel in the messenger. Anyone else?
Definitely, I'm taking with me it's a pride. I never thought about it from this perspective that all the time, definitely when we have argument or something happening, we just want to protect ourselves. But we never thinking, I mean, how a person as well want to protect himself. And it's never will work if somebody not working on the self, not looking on it from the side, I will say. And definitely gratitude. I'm like, I know about it, but all the time when you're repeating about it, I'm just like, a long time I didn't do this like affirmation, I will say. Because definitely we have a lot of wishes. I want this, I want that, and like, I mean, and definitely maybe what I have already right now, I was wishing about it like 1 year ago, but now I'm having, and like I'm not appreciating it, or I'm forgetting, or I'm not come back to gratitude again. And it's so important to remind yourself that, like, I mean, for everything is the right time. And definitely how you're working on yourself, what you're doing, steps, definitely it's not going to fall down from the sky, but it's deep inner work, and gratitude, it's part of it.
Thank you, Olga. Yeah.
Okay.
The gratitude and how Cheryl was sharing. Even though her husband is away, she's connected to him, you know. And when we are not in a state of pride, we have this humility to our husbands and to everyone that comes into our life. So thank you. Anyone else?
I feel like I was in that learner mindset a lot when I was single. And then when I got into my relationship, I didn't even realize how much progressively over the last 2 years I have switched more and more into pride. So having this really has brought me back to the basics in a humbling, healthy way, because I needed it. So yeah.
Thank you. Because the first step to shifting again from pride to humility, to recognizing I am in the space of pride. And
a little bit
and then being grateful. What is that?
And a little bit more extra compassion for Lane, because again, he fell in love with me when I was in this really soft learner, squishy energy, and I need to get back there.
Yeah, and give yourself and him a compassion, because you are still in the first year of having a newborn. He's struggling. He never been a father. You are struggling because you're away from your parents. It's all on you also energetically, and bringing the compassion. But that again, humility. What is Creator trying to teach me? When we're in a state of a learner, there's no one to blame. You're taking full responsibility for everything that is happening in your relationship and life. And you're no longer a victim, because the moment you're a victim, that something is going wrong, you lose the power. You lose your happiness. You lose your fulfillment, and you're disconnecting. Disconnecting from your loved ones, and mainly disconnecting from the source. And who wants to be in a deficiency and constantly you're in this aggression mode? Who can I take it from? And life is dangerous, and man is dangerous, and husband is dangerous. But we're afraid of love. We're afraid of connecting, because we took again Creator out of the equation. Let's bring him back. And in the modern society, if you really look at everything, the 90%, if there's churches everywhere, people are really disconnected from him. He's just somewhere. No, he's in each and every one of us. And everybody goes through lessons, hard lessons. So with that said, ladies, sorry I took your extra time. I want to acknowledge you all for being here and being in this confronting somewhat conversation. And I want to acknowledge you for your courage, for your vulnerability, your authenticity, and open heart. We'll be seeing you next Sunday. It's going to be really powerful session where we're going to dive deep into the conversation of karma, and everything that I'll share from what you've learned today and the karma will come like a puzzle together. We're just going to dive into it much deeper. So just look forward, because it's one of the most fascinating topics. And until then, again, thank you. Have a beautiful the rest of your day. And I cannot wait to see you next Sunday. Namaskar.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.